Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another guitar lesson. For today I have a really cool chord that's actually built in all intervals of a fifth. So this one has a really cool undefined, very I guess I'd use the word majestic type of sound to it. And it's just a nice chord to have in your repertoire. And it also works well because of the way the intervals are to use in like your rock playing, maybe even some, metal, stuff like that. So it's just a very useful chord to know. So let's get into the lesson. I'll show you where I kind of first came upon this chord, and then the other shape that I came up with, and then how to use it with open strings. So let's get into the lesson. Alright guys, so I first discovered this chord going through the Chord Factory book from Berkeley, which is just a really excellent book. If you guys haven't checked that out already, I would highly recommend it. So the chord they showed, I forget even where it was in the book, but they were talking about intervals and the interval of a fifth, and they showed this chord. Okay, it's just fifths built on top of each other. So we have E to B is a fifth, B to F sharp is a fifth, and F sharp to C sharp is a fifth. So it's just all fifths. And the first time I heard that, I thought, man, this is great. What a nice sounding chord. And with pretty much all of my open position chords, I'm always thinking like, okay, cool, I've got this in open position, but what if I want to move this? What if instead of playing this like a big E, like a big E chord built in all fifths, what if I wanted it to be like an E flat or an A flat or something? So I tried to move this, and this was the shape I came up with, which obviously is ridiculous and not exactly what I'd call a practical chord voicing to get to. It's a massive stretch if you're playing quick chords or something. It's just, like I said, it's not practical at all. So I, just kind of looked at the intervals a little bit, and I came up with this voicing instead. Same chord, but just voiced a little, or not voiced differently, but the notes are just put in different places on the actual guitar neck. So same exact, all intervals of a fifth stacked on top of each other. But it's a much easier chord to grab now, and we still get the same great sound. Okay, so here's what we have first of all, and then I'll show you the progression and the open strings. So we have middle at 8 of the low E, ring is at 10 of the A, and that's a little bit of a stretch there. Pointer finger at 7 of the G, then pinky is going to be at 10 of the B string. And that's the lovely sound we get. And the pointer, if we're not using open strings, if we just want to move this other places, then we can have the tip of the pointer lightly mute the D, and then also mute the high E. Let's just take this down to B flat. Let's take it down to G. And when I'm saying G, the middle finger is the root note. Okay, so what is this chord? Well, it's actually a 6-9 chord, and the root note is based off the middle finger. So right here, we have a C 6-9 chord, and there's no third in this either. So as you guys have been kind of noticing, I've been talking a lot about chords with no thirds in them. This chord has a very undefined type of sound. Let's take it up to E flat. So as you're noticing, you can almost move this chord from one chord to the next almost anywhere. This transitions into like different keys really, really well. So like you can see I was going from C to E flat to F, A flat, B flat. It's just a nice chord to transition between. So let's just try something really quick here. Let's just add the open D string into this, and we'll pick it. So we'll go down to B flat. Still that open D string. to G. Then I'm moving the exact same chord down to F, but as you can see, my pointer finger isn't actually on a fret, it's just down to the open G string. So, still the exact same shape, but my pointer finger just doesn't have a fret anymore. And that is an incredible sound. I love the sound of that progression. Really quick, let's try adding in the high E string as well, open. Okay, so lovely sound there. Here the high E is a third for C. There it's a sharp 11 for B flat. There it's the 6 for G. And it's the major 7 for our F chord. And yeah, that's, you know, I've been working with this chord for a while now. I just found that progression a couple days ago, and I was just kind of messing around with this form and some open strings, and I really fell in love with the sound of that. I think that is just a really stunning sound. So hopefully you guys think the same about that progression. But yeah, that's the chord form. Again, it's basically a 6/9 with no third in there, or you could think of it as like a, I don't know, like a sus2 N4 if you wanted to. Either or I think is fine, but as I said, that's movable if you don't have the open strings in there, so you can just add that to your repertoire, and the root's based off the middle finger, and then you have the 6/9 in there. And as we had said, or as I had said too, it sounds great with open strings. Let's even try C. I'm going to go all the way up to F up here. And that is a really nice sound too. I went all the way up to the G. So just a sophisticated sound. It's just I just love the way that chord, the way the intervals are in there with the fifth, and yeah, I just really enjoy that chord. So hopefully you guys do as well, and I will see you back here next week for another guitar lesson. Thanks so much, everyone.